It's time for City Beat, your source for all the latest news on the City of Thompson. Only on 102.9 CHTM, your radio station.
Good morning, this is City Beat here on 102.9 CHTM. I'm Monika, and joining me today is Mayor Dennis Fenske. Welcome to the studio.
Good morning.
If you have a question for the mayor, you can call us at 677-8181, or you can also email us at chtm@arcticradio.ca. To kick things off this morning, what's been happening around the city?
Water breaks. Just to bring the concern of our safety concern to the general public, we've had two major water breaks amongst others, but two major ones over the last week or so. One on Cree Road, and the difficulty in that one is that there is a lot of other utilities in the area, so we've had to in fact hand dig or what we call soft dig in and around that area. So it's taking a little longer to get through it all, but we're on top of that one. And we also had a major one on Nelson Road by McMahon Yates and Twin Motors. So the crew dealt with that on the weekend. We are in that freeze-thaw cycle, and that's creating issues for us. From a personal safety perspective on that freeze-thaw, again, it's -9 or 10 this morning. There is ice on the road and walkway, so be cautious when you're walking. It usually thaws by the afternoon and then refreezes overnight. So we're in that cycle. It's normal in this area. Just be extra careful when you're walking or biking or driving. And
how long are those water breaks expected to be taking? How long are they expected to, take until the intersections are reopened?
The one on Twin Motors, McMahon and Yates, Nelson Road, is open again. There is some barricades there, so be cautious there. And again, the one lane is closed on Cree Road. Hopefully we'll be finishing that up this week. But again, care and caution to those two areas.
All right. Now, the public 2015 budget hearing was held last week. How do you think it went?
I thought it went very well. We had, I believe, 10 people show up from the general public. We had some really good questions from that perspective, and so I'm quite happy with the budget that we have presented. We presented the previous council meeting first reading of the levy bylaw, and then subsequently did the public hearing. And this coming Monday, during the regular council meeting, we'll have second and third reading of the levy bylaw. So I'm quite happy with the process that the council went through, and would like to thank administration for the efforts in that. I would also like to thank the general public and staff for their input and questions. So we'll be moving forward with that resolution, or bylaw, on Monday evening.
Right, and as you mentioned, there were a number of concerns and comments brought up from residents, such as accommodation tax, legal fees, and the LGD, just to name a few. What are your thoughts on what residents had to say? Well,
I think that people are becoming more informed, and that's a good thing to see. We're seeing some good questions, good suggestions in regards to, for instance, the accommodation tax, which from the council's perspective, we are also looking at and mandated ourselves to relook at that formula that right now is divided amongst three areas in regards to reserves. The accommodation tax, which is the 5% tax on rooms in our community, generates about $500,000 in revenue, and so we have mandated ourselves to look at widening the scope in regards to where those funds go, which would include tourism and Thompson Unlimited. So that will be part of the budget deliberation in 2016.
So is that sort of how the city will be using the feedback from the public towards future budgets, or?
Absolutely, and it's not only during the public hearing. Anytime during the year, if there's suggestions from the general public in regards to what we do well or what we don't do as well, please contact us. I mean, we need to hear back from the public and understanding that there is constructive criticism, and that's warranted in some cases, and we certainly want to hear that. But also, we also want to hear the good stories on what things are happening well, and how we can promote Thompson as a safe, good place to live and raise a family.
And during this time, the water main renewal and road renewal projects were revealed. Various sections, for example, of Cree Road is set for water main renewal and road renewal. How does council choose what roads are going to be chosen to have work done on?
Basically, it's on a need basis, on a severity basis, and so internally we've done reviews in regards to what the areas are that need the highest priority, and then in every budget year we go through that process and allocate funds. And again, from the capital process and the utility process in regards to the water bills that each of us pay, there are funds created and then put towards specific projects. And as you mentioned, this year's water main project will be down Cree Road for the most part, as well as into the backside, or the east side of the trailer court on the Cree Road side. So it's based on priorities, and we will continue to bring those programs forward each and every year as we move forward in replacing infrastructure, which is a big issue across Canada, across Manitoba, across every community, and we are dealing it within the means that we have at our disposal.
Just to remind listeners that if you have a question for the mayor, you can call us at 677-8181 or emailchtm@arcticradio.ca. Now, it was Earth Day yesterday, and to mark the date, the city shared some of its earth-friendly programs over the years, such as the plastic bag bylaw, multi-use pass, and a solar-powered crosswalk. Are there any sort of initiatives that are in the works that are earth-friendly?
Well, I think the annual one that we have is the Spring Cleanup Program, which runs for the month of May 1st to May 31st. And so I encourage people to start early if you can. You don't have to wait to May 1st in regards to helping clean up the community. The trash or cash for trash program is in place at $3 per bag as of May 1st. So we encourage people to take advantage of that as a fundraiser. And in regards specifically into regards to Earth Day and looking at recycles and things that we can do better to not affect the environment or affect the environment in a positive way. As you mentioned, the plastic bag ban has proven enormous in our community. I find myself, and probably many others find themselves, if they're down south in Winnipeg, going to Safeway or whatever store, Sobeys, and walking in with a bag, not expecting to have plastic bags provided to us. So the impact on our community has been huge. We see it every spring that it is a little bit cleaner, and we're having to deal with less in that manner. So that's an improvement, and we continue to move forward each year on Earth Day and environmental issues.
All right, and just real quickly about the solar-powered crosswalk, that's fairly new. How has that been going so far? Any feedback from the public?
Well, I think the initiative is a really good one. What it comes down to now is public education, and not only the solar-powered crosswalk, but every crosswalk that has lights. Is that I go to the post office every day, and I make a habit of pushing the button to get the lights to come on. And we've seen many people just walk across the crosswalk, and from a safety perspective, the lights are there for a reason, to make the drivers aware of your intent to cross. So I would encourage everyone to use the buttons to make yourself safe. And from a solar perspective, again, this is a cost-effective manner of providing a safe crosswalk that we're piloting right now. We're trying this one. We'll be tracking it, and hopefully we'll be installing more over the next number of years as far as our cost savings measures as well as environmental and safety issues as well.
All right. And right just down the street, actually, from those solar-paneled crosswalk is the old Staples building. Mm-hmm. I've been noticing some more activity there. Do you know of any plans in place for the building yet?
There is a redevelopment going on. I can't say publicly what that is because it's a development issue with the City of Thompson and a developer. But yes, the community will see a change in that facade and the use of that building in the near future.
All right. And then on the topic, then how involved is the city when it comes to businesses setting shop in Thompson? Because, for example, there are a number of empty units at the city center mall at the moment. So how is the city currently attracting businesses?
Basically, from a attraction perspective, we have Thompson Unlimited, who has been in a bit of a hiatus or a changeover mode in the last year. And so we're ramping that up again. And again, just as an aside on that one, I would ask people from the business community who are interested in the economic future of our community to put their names forward as potential board members. We've just hired a new GM, and so Paul DeJarle, and so he can be contacted at the Thompson Unlimited office as well. But we are promoting from a land perspective. We're accessing more land and developing those subdivisions or subdividable land to making available to developers. We are looking at incentives for developers over the next budget year to see how we can assist in that. In regards to existing buildings, the ones you mentioned within the City Centre Mall, that development is basically up to the owner and operator of that facility, where the city falls in regards to building codes and building permits and things like that. That's where we get involved. So we are trying to promote our community as a place of investment, doing the best we can, and then there's also a process that takes place that's legally responsible in regards to, for instance, the building permit and things like that.
Right. And on the topic of development, I've heard some rumors about a wet house being built in the city. For listeners who don't know, usually a dry house is a housing facility that doesn't allow contrabands inside. An example, I believe, would be, for example, 95 Cree Road. And a wet house is the opposite. Residents are able to, for example, drink at the home. Can you comment on whether or not there are plans or talks to build a wet house?
Other than 95 Cree Road, of which has been a very successful program in regards to helping with the downtown issue and the cold weather policy in the winter in regards to the uses of our facilities, I'm not aware of a wet house being proposed at this time.
Okay. Well, then to wrap things up, what's taking place the upcoming week?
Busy weekend this weekend. Knights of Columbus track meet is at TRCC on Friday, May 24th. Times are 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Opening ceremonies are 7 p.m. and the final events run from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. Non-perishable items are welcome for the Salvation Army food drive. And also, as I mentioned previously, the spring cleanup is officially May 1st to May 31st, but I would encourage residents to start now in any way that they can, and whether it's sweeping a sidewalk in front of your house or anything like that, picking up some garbage. What we want to, we really only have two seasons in Thompson. It's winter and summer, and so our spring is very short. So we want to get it up and running and clean as quick as we can. So don't wait till May 1st. If you see some garbage, pick it up. If you've got some sand to sweep it up, and pitch in to help our community look beautiful as we know it can be.
Great. That's this edition of City Beat. Join us next Thursday around 11:30 a.m. for more on what's happening around Thompson and City Hall. I'm Monika Gould for 1029 CHTM.
City Beat will be back next Thursday.